welcome back. Most of you have attended the scientific and technical workshop at the Digital Ocean Forum a little bit more than 1 week ago. And we are really happy to have you here today for working with you, understanding what has been your experience in using Edito platform. And I see in the registration that some of you are, let's say, new because didn't attend the scientific and technical workshop in Brussels. But so I hope you will be able to follow the discussion, and you can contact us and ask for questions if you need, because being a follow-up webinar, we will not start from the very beginning of the story. So sorry about that. So if we can have the next slide. Okay. Yes, so few house rules. Please, in your Zoom participant name, if you can write your name and the project and the organization that you represent, that will allow us to easily identify you when you are talking. Then if you can keep your video and audio turned off so that we avoid unnecessary background. And during interactive Q&A session, so if you, sorry, so with the, we will enable your video and audio, so the audio, so that you can interact with everyone. You can use the chat for introducing yourself and for reporting technical issues. And as usual, there is the Q&A chat where you can write your questions during the session. And as already said, we are recording this meeting. So we can go to the next one. So we start with a very short introduction on what is the objective of the meeting today. And then Connor Delaney from EPONNET will provide you some outcomes from the scientific and technical workshop breakout session that we had in Brussels. And then there will be a more interactive part of the meeting with a mural exercise for allowing you to share your experience in using Edito platform. And then we will give time to your questions, and we will have experts from the technical team of Edito for answering your question. And then we will close the meeting. So as said, the objective of this meeting is to interact with you and to collect your feedback on your experience in using Edito platform, with the possibility to explore and create in the platform. And we are really keen to understand what are your impression and what is your feedback in dealing with Edito platform. You are representing different projects, you have different backgrounds, and you are doing different works related to the marine environment. And so it's really important for us to get your comments and to build on such a big diversity that is represented by you. So first of all, thank you for being here today. And then I give the floor to Connor.
Thanks, Marina. Can you guys hear me okay? Great. I'm going to go, you want to go to breakout sessions now, do the questions. I am going to go over these questions that were asked in the breakout sessions and the words cloud that we did. I just want to share the results with you here so that you have an understanding of what all the community is thinking on this. I think is a good thing to do in order to keep us all in terms of transparency, and also to help people realize where the problems are. So there was 3 sessions or 4 sessions, and the biggest one was the breakout session 1, which is one I was involved in, exploring the Edito data lake and modeling engine and addressing user needs. We had a full room, wasn't standing room, but every seat was taken. So it was big. And the reason why I mention this is because it explains some of the answers to the questions, which I'll come to later on. So we go to the first slide there, please. Now, as I said, I'm not really going to pass comment on the answers, or just highlight some of them. So one of the things we wanted to ask was, how do people identify themselves? Do they see themselves as a modeler, or do they see themselves as a data scientist? So we asked this question from as a modeler or data professional. Now, the modeler side is interesting because it was clear that there was people who were from the machine learning world who regard themselves as a modeler, and there's people from the high performance fluid dynamic modeling world who also regard themselves as modelers. But in reality, these are quite different people, but they're both modelers. They just have different techniques. The data professional one was great to see. It was great to see people accept and identify with the title of data professional. It's very important. It's one of the most important things in the scientific community is data management, and having data professionals who are looking after the management of data. So that's great to see people doing that. When we asked the question, have people used the Ditto infrastructure already? It was a great 49 to 51, so it was 50-50 split. And that was partly, I suppose, by construction, because we went out of the way to make sure that people who had used this infrastructure were at the first day of the DOF. But what surprised me was the third question: do you have experience with other cloud platforms? And 77% of people said they had, which is also very heartening, because it means that the task or the challenge of getting people to understand how you have to think differently when working on the cloud is easier for us on the Edito project. And then we asked the question on which you think is the bigger challenge, computation and data storage. And for me, the answer of 71% for computation was a surprise, because in my opinion, it's the data storage is the bigger of the two challenges. And Edito is trying to meet the problem of data storage, the idea of thinking of data or big data as part of your computational workflow. And it resolves some of the challenges you have in doing computation. So maybe we need to tweeze that out a bit more in the next, as we go forward into the journey with Edito with our colleagues, and see just what we mean on that going in the future. Next slide there, please. So we did a word cloud. What do you think is what do you like most about Edito infrastructure? And flexibility came through, and that was fantastic, because that's exactly what the team in Mercator, Chloe's team, were trying to do. They're trying to make it as flexible as possible. It's great to see that people have recognized that. So victory there for the whole Edito team in getting that communication across. And then we had, if there's a feature that you would like to see developed, which one would that be? And it's pretty, it was equal between open APIs, training, and operational services, which are pretty much what we'd expected. The training, of course, is very important, and we do plan to have a training going forward. And operational services is also extremely important. And we plan to address that. The open APIs, we strive to have APIs that are open. But one of the things about the Edito is that we're inviting the communities to build their digital twins or other projects on the Edito infrastructure, and they can create their own APIs on top of all of that. Next slide there, please. So, sorry, I'm just not seeing the whole question here. I'm just going to move over here. So we asked a question about data sets in this session, about what valuable data sets you'd like to see, or what you regard as being indispensable that should be on the Edito data lake. And this came about from a conversation I had with one of the beta testers of the system, and who was decrying the lack of climate change data, particularly stuff from the atmospheric fields, and he was thinking that maybe we could bring over some of those large climate change data sets onto Edito, and it might help their work. So we asked this question, and we got the biggest one out was species observations, which surprised me a bit, because I thought we had that well managed with the EMODnet biology data coming onto the data lake, but I'm not a subject matter expert in this area, so it's something we need to follow up on at a later date. The meteorology and river data, that's fine. We sort of have expected that one. But the other one was the socioeconomic data. Now, this is interesting because at the DOF, there was people who were coming from the socioeconomic areas who are modelers, and they would be more in the line of machine learning and statistical modelers who are also building digital twin projects. And it was quite clear that there was a meeting of the waters, so to speak, where we had different communities coming together and using the same words, but meaning different things. So we will be hoping to keep very close contact with our socio-economic colleagues and making sure that we meet their needs as well as all the scientific community's needs. So the last question here in this session, no, it's not the work poll here on this session was, sorry, second last. How would you like to see the process of user engagement? What elements are crucial? And once again, we have training and feedback. And this is very much on our minds since EMODnet and Copernicus Marine realized that the Edito is a shared platform. It's our resource to be used by both our communities. So we really want to make sure that the communities understand this and then make the best out of it. Next slide there, please. So the question of how does the Edito infrastructure help out with your projects? And data access came straight there in the middle, and which was very much in line with some of the beta testers had found. They were, one in particular had a particular data storage problem. They couldn't, there was no easy way for them to develop their decision support system without having access to massive storage facilities, and Edito actually provided them with that. So it's an easy enough story to understand. The computing power, well, that's part of what Edito is all about. So hopefully we will be helping people with that going forward. Next slide there, please. So now we're on to the other breakout sessions. Now I wasn't in these breakout sessions, so I'll try my best to guide us through this. And here's where my point is that these were much smaller sessions. So the amount of people putting up answers or would affect how answering the questions affects the answers that come through. So breakout session 2, connecting an interoperable and cohesive network of digital twinning initiatives and applications via Edito. If I remember correctly, a lot of our socioeconomic colleagues went to this one. So the next slide there was straight to the point. What is the value of interoperability for you? And sharing came out as the top one there. But as you noticed, all the words don't specifically say data or computation. They're all quite general words. So people are thinking of sharing and harmonization and standards. So you're looking at a sort of a macro level view of what Edito is. So we only one slide from there. So go on to breakout session 3. Delivering to policy objectives, a vision of the EU DTO. I think this is quite even a smaller session, but let's go on to the questions. Yes, if I checked, I actually looked back at the pictures from the sessions. This is quite a small number of people here. So if you see the answer is got a typo in it, so I'm just assuming that there wasn't very many people in that room. But still, there was all, when I had a look through the room, they're all very important people. So the questions are very much from people with lots of experience who can see the landscape, the policy landscape ahead. So what obstacles can prevent the wide use of Edito, hampering the co-creation of the European digital twin ocean? And the the question that one was Edito tools and solutions not adapted to local needs, which is an interesting answer because it still harks back to the idea that Edito infrastructure is providing the total solution. In fact, it's not providing the total solution, it's providing part of the solution. And it's up to people who are working on it and building digital twins to build the decision support tools or digital twins that can be adapted to local needs. So we still have that sort of refinement to tweak out on people's understanding of of what Edito is all about. The limited training and our capacity for people to use Edito locally, well, that came out as 46%. That's another interesting aspect because Edito is a cloud system, so you could log into it from anywhere in the world and use it there. So I think there's a technological gap that needs to be tweezed out there as well. Next slide there, please. What obstacles can prevent the wide use of Edito, hampering the co-creation of the European digital twin of the ocean? And lack of political will on ocean management, not a priority, came up as the top, which I suppose is just self-evident. But the thing is, we're here with Edito because of political will. So I don't think that is a concern that we can be too worried about. But it's something to be aware of. The next question there is, what keywords best capture the critical success of factors of the European digital twin ocean? And engagement came in as number one. And it's quite clear that from the atmosphere at the Digital Ocean Forum, on both days, there was huge amount of engagement and excitement among participants as they realized that they were in a room full of like-minded people who suddenly had been shown that there's a great resource available to them to do things with. So that's it, I think. Let's break out 3 slides, yeah. So all I suggest is to people taking part in the audience here, just to think about the questions and the answers and help you understand how people are approaching the Edito. Maybe to help you better engage the Edito system yourselves. So thank you.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you for your recap of what's has been discussed during all the breakout session. And now we can move to the next part of the meeting with Valentina. And so Valentina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marina. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to guide you today through an interactive exercise to collect your feedback regarding your experience using the platform. So next slide, please. So the objectives of these activities are to gather your general feedback on your user journey, to collect feedback on your experience, especially within the explore and create functionalities of the platform, to identify your needs and requirements for the contribute section, what you would like to see, and then also to engage in discussion on what it works, what doesn't, and what could be improved. So I just put the link in the chat for the mural. It's not necessary for you to register. You can enter as a visitor. So next slide, please. So just a few rules or like a quick guide about how to use Mural. So murals, if you haven't used it before, murals are big. They are like huge boards that we use to collaborate together. So you need to get comfortable zooming and scrolling, like moving around the mural. If something is too small to read, you just zoom in to see it in more details instead of making larger. And this is way to zoom and navigate the mural is with the trackpad or with the mouse wheel. So next slide, please. So for this activity, we will ask you to put some contributions into the mural. So for that, you can create a sticky note or a post-it where you can put your feedback there, and then you can move the sticky notes around the mural just to place it wherever you feel is like it. So for this, it's very easy to create a post-it. I will create many, so you can take one of those or just simple double click anywhere in the mural, and then double click again just to edit and put your comment in the post-it. So next slide, please. So at some point, I will ask you also to react for one specific question where you had to answer yes or no. So I will ask you to react by using one of the emojis. So for that, you just click on the sticky note, and then you select the reaction icon. So you can put a thumb up or like a happy face or a sad face if you agree or not with the question. And you can also react to other people's sticky notes. So if somebody puts something that you agree with that, you can put also an emoji to show that you agree with that comment. Okay, so I think that is my last slide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen so you can see how the mural looks like. Okay, so hopefully I see already many visitors in the mural, so hopefully everyone can access the mural. But if you have at some point any problems or technical problem, please feel free to put it in the chat. So you can see here on the left side that I put more information for you to read it if you wanted. It's just an introduction, some instruction about how to use the mural. And this is how it looks like. So we have 5 different activities for you to complete. So we will start with the easy one, which is just an introduction. So I will ask you to take one of these sticky notes, double click, and then just enter your name, institution, and the project you are representing today. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm taking here one sticky note, double click. So I put my name here, and then my organization. And then you can do the same with the other sticky notes. If at some point you need more, it's very simple to create one sticky note. You just choose one place in the mural and then double click, and you will have a new sticky note. And you can move it and drag it. And to put a reaction, you just need to click on the sticky note. Sorry, here. Oops. And you see here at the add reaction icon, just to put that you agree or not. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes for you to put your name, your organization, and your project. There is so if you see that the post-it is very big, you can also adapt it and reduce it, or just leave it there and I can delete it and create new post-it. So no worries about that. This is good. I see many people writing in the post-its. Okay, for those who are already done with that, feel free to take your time to do that. For the second part, we wanted to ask you a general question regarding your experience. So how was your overall user journey throughout the platform? And so for that, we created this fun exercise where you had to grab one of these little icons here, this little person, then you put it next to very good, good, neutral, bad, and very bad, just to let us know what do you think about the platform in general. Yeah, we give you just a few more minutes for this. I'm checking the chat in case that there is any question.
Hi, yes, Valentina.
Yes.
We have someone who cannot highlight through the link. Maybe you can explain that a bit better.
What do you mean
The
highlighting?
link is not highlighting.
That the link doesn't work?
Jenna, can you maybe explain that a bit better? Let's see if she comes back to us.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm going to copy the link again just in case and put it in the chat. Okay, so we see a good amount of people put good as an overall experience. I'm going to give you a few more minutes. Oh, I think she can't copy and paste it in the browser. I see it highlighted in my chat. Does anyone have the same problem with the link? Okay. Okay, so we are going to move to the third part here, which is explore. And for this one, I would like to take a little bit more time for this. So for this one, we would like to ask you your feedback regarding the explore functionality for tutorials, viewer, processes, and services. So I put 3 little icons here. And what this icon means are just in the bottom here in the lesson. If the smiley face, it's basically for you what added value, what did not add value, and the thinking phase is just what are some new and improved ideas that you would like to see for the explore functionality. So for this one, again, you can choose if you want to express your feedback for tutorial, for example, for something that did not add value, just double click here and you will create a sticky note. But I will create many here, so feel free to grab them and take them and use it in any of these specific categories. So feel free to take any of these post-its over here for you to complete it. And actually, we have a very good post-it here that is related to something that we want to ask you also. That is, well, the difference between processes and services. And for that, if you follow the arrows here, we put the definitions that you can find in the platform regarding what are processes and what are services. We were wondering if something that we should do is instead of calling these processes, we should replace with a word function. And instead calling it as a service, we should replace with an application. So for that, I put yes and no. For you to vote if you believe that we should replace it or not. And the way that you vote is just go to one of these post-its. For example, if you think that we should replace processes with function, you just put here a thumbs up or not. So it's very easy to add the reaction. If you believe it, you put here. If not, you click on the other one. And the same for the other question. I don't know, Chloe, feel free to maybe explain this question better if you want to.
I think you explained that very well. It's really
okay.
because we had some, like you said, we had some it is difficult to explain what are processes and services. We do know how we differentiate them. And the best way we found was to assimilate services to applications that the user can interact with, while processes are more like functions that will be running in the background, but that the user won't have any interaction with unless they want to launch them and to get the result, but they won't have direct interaction with them. So that is why we are wondering if these new terms would be more easy to understand or not.
Okay, perfect. So you can vote there for yes and no to let us know your feedback on that, and then feel free to keep completing this table. And also for this exercise at the bottom, we put here some questions regarding the data. For example, this is actually very general. It's for you just to put your needs and requirements in a general way, but some questions that we might want to ask you is what improvement would you suggest for the different data services that you can find here? Where are the main gaps in the available ocean data? So feel free to take one of these post-its over here and just put your comments, requirements, and needs. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to complete this part. Please just put any question regarding the mural in the chat. And if you have other more specific question, we will have the Q&A session after the mural activity. It's good. I see already some comments regarding data as well. Many new ideas for the improvements, so that is always good. Okay, Ushen, I'm going to send you the link through email to see if it works. So for those arriving now, feel free to enter through the mural. We are working on a feedback activity for you to give us your experience using the platform. So we are now on the part 3, where people are entering their feedback regarding the Explore functionalities of the platform. Okay, I see some people moving to the other part. So I'm going for this one. For Create, it's pretty much similar to what you did for the Explore functionality. So again, just use one of the post-its that I'm going to create now here. So you can enter your feedback about the things that add value, what didn't work, what it can be improved, or new ideas or suggestions that you might have. So I'm putting here some post-it for you to take it and drag it. So for the create part, so we divided in 4 about the data catalog, on-demand services, predefined services, external projects and platforms, and we put here some little information for you to know what we refer to. I want to also say that this mural is going to stay open until Friday. So if we don't have enough time to, or if you didn't have enough time today to put your feedback, feel free to have a look after the webinar, even until Friday, and then we will export the results. Okay, I see no question in the chat, so I think everybody is busy entering their feedback, so that is good. Also for the technical team, if you see any post-it or if you want to make any comments regarding what the participants are writing, feel free to say a few words. I know that we had the Q&A session after, but maybe you see something that you can already answer.
Well, we can see that still the difference between the processes and services is still present. I try to answer a bit of it with a green post-it next to a yellow one. And,
okay, perfect. We can show it here. So here.
And kind of the same, like someone added, like in the bad or in the not added value of the processes that a user cannot interact with them. Yes, that is kind of part of its definition. Is that the only interaction there will be the parameterization. So it's also a question for the processes in the source of it. It is possible to parameterize processes. There are some already in the data lab that has several parameters to be played with. So that is completely something possible and that we want to be present.
Okay.
Also, Yeah, also I saw comments about the lack of tutorials, and maybe some people miss some vocabulary about what is happening on the platform. We plan to write more tutorials and also organize them a bit better so that you can search among every tutorial that we have on the platform and make things easier to discover the platforms, the vocabulary regarding what we are doing and stuff like that. So thank you for the feedback.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more minutes because we still have time, so there is no need to rush. But I think basically everybody finished the exercise number 3. So we have some comments for the create functionality, mostly ideas or improvements. I think we have a hand raised, Stefano. I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, picking up. What was the question? Sorry.
I don't know. We saw your hand raised.
No, by mistake.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to move to the last part that it has 2 different questions. So we know that the contribute part is still not active for you to test it, but we would like to know how would you like to contribute. So we put like a different topics here for you to put post-its next to it. So regarding data, what kind of collaboration, tutorials, processes, other contributions, basically anything that you want to give us your feedback, ideas, or suggestions. So feel free again to double click and create a post-it and just drag it next to whatever the topic that you want to talk about. And for the last part, this question is regarding what methodology would you propose for suggesting changes to the catalogs? So one for data, one for processes, and one for services. So I already put here some post-its so you can take them and write your feedback and your ideas about how would you like to, what kind of methodology would you like to use for suggesting changes to the catalog? If the question is not very clear, feel free to put your question in the chat and we are happy to clarify it.
And in fact, if I may, there are already some way to contribute which were not open to you yet. But this question is also like there are some elements that you will be able to directly contribute to. There are some elements that is difficult yet to contribute, but it is possible. And there are some elements also that cannot be directly changed by you, like the tabs of the different kind of catalogs available in the processes and services. For example, at the top of the data lab, you have we have done some organization of these different services like ocean modeling, what if application, focus application, this kind of things. And this, you do not have direct access to them. So we are kind of wondering how we could together propose you to make this change. And we do not have the answer. For now, we have a channel support, we have emails, but we don't have the answer. So if you have some ideas, if you have some proposition, please add them. Because, for example, someone from Delta Res asked us to add coastal modeling as well as ocean modeling. So Is that a good idea? Are there other ones you would like to have? How do we construct this collaborative platform together? And should it rather be coastal modeling, or should it just be modeling? Because in fact, we shouldn't specify ocean and it's just modeling. Like, there's many questions from us, and that's why we would like to have your feedback on that. And thank you very much for all that you are writing right now.
Okay, so we see some contributions already regarding services, like adding model applications. And then here for processes as well, and data.
And if I may also, on how would you like to contribute? Thanks to other pairs, to other people that has added what I want to contribute. Here's a question: is also not only what you want to contribute, but also how. Because at the moment, the contribution, you did not have access to it, so you do not necessarily know. At the moment, the contribution for the services, the processes, and the tutorials are done with a Git repository where people create merge requests. First, they need to be added to this repository to have the right to access them as a developer, and then to create merge requests. So it's possible, it's easy for those that know how to do it, but first there is like an entry procedure, and then there is like, you need to know the way to do that. Data will be different. For now, there is an API. So we are thinking about maybe creating forms to try and help people to directly be able to add a contribution more easily, maybe than with a merge request, but maybe also with less capacity, because the interest of this merge request is that there is lots of possibilities behind it if you know how to do them. So that is kind also of the question we are wondering, like.
So for the methodology question, I don't see many comments yet. Only one for data that it says maybe create a data catalog to easily access all data available within the digital twin. Oh, one for services now. People saying that they're happy to be in the beta testing activity, so that's good. Yeah, and for the part of services, I see many comments regarding being able to add their own application to the platform. So Chloe, for the services, we had a comment saying that merge requests are okay, but I think the credential handling should be simplified or explained better. Do you think that is something that it can be done?
I'm not sure I understand which credential you're talking about, if it's inside a service or the credential used to
Yes, that's what I
contribute
was
directly.
thinking about. It's the
Yeah.
S3 credentials. So that could be if we do that without merge requests, maybe with a form where people directly can add what they want. And maybe we did not. Yes, I think a solution. Yes, as you're saying, that it might need to be explained better. Maybe it wasn't part yet of the tutorials where we are making them evolve with each of your feedbacks to try and have them the most complete as possible. Because I don't think we can change the way they are indicated in the Helm chart, but we can explain them better, that's for sure.
And yeah, as Chloe said, our tutorials are evolving constantly. So when we see recurring question from you, we try to integrate our answers to the tutorials. So it's better for the next person. So it's good that you ask question and tell us what are the blocking points when you try to contribute, for example.
Okay, I see people writing still. As I say before, this mural is going to stay open until Friday. So if so feel free to come back after the webinar to put more inputs if you have more questions or more feedback. And if you have other colleagues that have tried the platform but they could not make it today, feel free also to forward the link for them to add their inputs as well. Yeah, definitely tutorials and guidelines are mentioned a lot. So we don't have any comments regarding processes for the methodology. I don't know, Chloe, if you have an example of for processes so people know a little bit more what kind of feedback you are looking for this part.
Well, it's a bit like as I tried to to say, but maybe people also don't have ideas. That's okay too. It's
Yeah.
not. It's if it's how can we collaborate all together to design the next changes, the next steps of the platform, like for processes. It's what I said about the naming. Should it be coastal? Should it be ocean? Should it be only modeling? You saw some tabs to organize the processes and services. Do they are they all right for you, or are some not clear? Should we change some? Are other things in the processes and services? In fact, it's for every modification, because there's a contribution that people will be able to do themselves. And there is a platform itself that only us have access to make changes to it. So the way it's configured, the way it's displayed, the way the information are available, what information are available. So all of these, somewhere, all of these elements are only changeable by us. So the question is like, how would you like for all of us to be linked, to be able to know your thoughts? So this is one of these methodology. We are doing some feedbacks here, but we won't always have webinars, and day to day, you have ideas for you to tell us and to maybe to work together, because when only one person gives us some inputs, we're thinking that, all right, that's interesting, but we don't know if it's pertinent for everyone or not. So it's a bit of this question, like, do you have some wishes for the way you could have an impact on the platform itself, other than your contributions, of course?
And I see in the chat, the person that wrote the posting for services just replied to your comment. It says that maybe we need more tutorial on the Helm chart creation for a general workflow. It will be useful to have a Helm chart template to deploy an application that can read from editor data lake, process it, and write on personal S3 bucket. I think it will speed up the development of a lot of services and processes.
Yeah, I think it's more clear. Thank you. I really think it's the tutorials that should be maybe better. And like Matti say, we are thinking about structuring them better so that you can search in their contents. Because for some of this, for some services, we have some templates that can be duplicated and changed. That's kind of the way we are trying today to do it. But maybe they weren't yet complete because we are also making them evolve with our own discovery of what is possible and not possible with the platform and how to do that. So yes, I think something in this place of the tutorials would be really important, and maybe some people to have I don't know, notification when there's change in some elements they are interested in. I don't know, but I think this could be something important.
Somebody wrote also in the chat that a great way of collaboration will be workshop or design workshop of co-creation. So that is something that we can consider as well.
Yeah, so we are, this is the process we are going through, and we are happy that so it's supported by you, and it's encouraging to see this comment in the chat, and we will, in the next phases, we will try to have more tailored workshop maybe, and also if possible to increase the frequency. Now, as you know, since last year we started this co-creation process with you, and we have had a sort of yearly appointment. Now this year, the yearly appointment has been spread in 3 webinars, so better 2 webinars and a workshop in Brussels. But so as you can see, it's an increasing effort, and it's good to see that is well received by you. So hopefully we will be able to offer more.
Okay, there are many post-it and feedback that it's great, that it can be analyzed later. So some ideas about contributions as well. So there is a comment here that it says, I believe right now it could be hard to give feedback on processes as they're inherently a black box at the moment. So. Okay, I think we got a lot of very nice feedback that it can be used. And I think there is a great general experience using the platform according to the mural. So that is always good. So maybe we should move to the Q&A part so we can give more space for question. The mural is going to stay open, so feel free to put your comments, requirements, and yes, anytime from here up to Friday. So I don't know if you want to share the presentation again. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yeah. So I'm going to give the floor to Chloe and Matis and Bart and Samuel for the answers.
Well, we already tried to answer some of the
Yeah.
questions in the mural, so maybe there are other questions that are either not in the mural or that people want to have a more direct answers to. Now could be the good time to put them in the Q&A or maybe make themselves known if they want to raise their hand, I suppose.
Yeah. So you can use the chat or just raise your hand.
No, no one has any more questions that they want direct answers to. Otherwise, we can try and take once more the post-its in the murals, but I think it would be more interesting to interact directly. Well, for the processes, I can say a bit more because it's a black box. Yes, it is a black box in the meaning that you can't interact with it, but you have some processes that have inputs that you can change. So you can choose what data and what argument of the processes are being taken into account. Not all of them have that. Some of them have that, but are not very well explained yet in how the arguments of the inputs are available. So it's true, but I think the idea is for the processes to be able to be launched, repeated, to have stable answers, stable computation. Like if you ask a specific process to run, you should always have the same output. If you have the same input, you should have the same output and be able to launch it again and with and test elements. So that's really the important part of the process, and to be able also to put them in a workflow to be able to do first one process and the other, and to chain them. That is not yet, we did not yet propose some easy way to do that, but there are some workflow manager that can already access, because the process also have an API, so you can launch a process and then get the output and launch another one that could be possible. So that's really the difference, yes, for the processes compared to the services.
Yes, so here we have a question in the chat. I don't know if the participant can have the audio that is active, and Jérôme can ask his question directly.
Aha, I got somebody with superpowers made me talk. That is very good. Hi, I'm Jeroen. Yeah, I just want to know how to look. We can contribute tools. That is great, but this is a bit bigger than that. I'm working on the project Necton together with Valentina and others here, and also the project just started Surimi, and we are supposed to start integrating socioeconomic and marine ecosystem models into the eDITO infrastructure. I met several of you last, like 2 weeks ago in Brussels. It was a fantastic event. But I'm just wondering how to start a structured discussion to make sure that we do things in a way that will benefit everyone. It is integrating our types of models goes a little bit beyond simply providing a tool. We need to reach agreement on several levels, and need to probably have some discussions how to best do things. So that requires a structured discussion. I don't really know how to start it with eDITO infrastructure people.
Maybe I can, because I think there we are coming into the contribute part. So first, I don't know if with your project you already had access to this part of the platform. So we will need to see when this, if it's not yet open to you, when it will be, and we can discuss to see how that can be possible. And once you are able to contribute, we have made some tutorials on that. Like there is a let's start contributing tutorial that is kind of trying to answer that. So not everything might be answered in it. There still might be questions, but I can already share that with you. At least you will have, I will put the link in the chat.
That is fantastic. Thank you. Good. We have to start somewhere, right?
In September, yes, we will probably open to more people, open to maybe the contribution to more people. We are not yet. We didn't yet precise what will be available in September and to whom. We are still working on that part, but we will let all of you know as soon as that is more clear for us.
Okay, many thanks.
So just to reinforce what has been said by Chloe, so there will be a phase foreseen for the integration, and so we will work with you in order to understand how this can be achieved. There will be different way to achieve it and different needs from the project. So it's something that needs to be analyzed and understood so that we can be able to support the different needs.
Okay, very good. And I see Stefano, the PI of Necton, replied already. Okay, good. Nice, thank you. You can mute me before I say something silly.
I can reassure that Necton is a project that is very active in the interaction with eDITO, and so we will hopefully find a way forward to do concrete steps for this integration. Okay, so as you can see, so in the chat, so Chloe is populating the chat with some links to tutorials. So we hope that after these 3 events that we had all together, it's more clear to you what Edito has built and what is possible with Edito, and hopefully you have also a hint of what could be the potentiality of Edito that of course needs to evolve itself. It's not at its final shape, its final set of functionalities, so there is still a lot of work to do for us as Edito developers, but as said, so we need to do it with your contribution for understanding what are the choices that we have to take for really addressing your needs. So this, as already said, this process of iteration with you will be carried on, and we will have other opportunities to discuss together and to work with you so that we can all go in the right direction and be successful in our delivery, also facilitate the work that you have to do in your projects. And I think that, yeah, so I was just checking if there was a last question in the chat, but we do not have other questions in the chat. So as I remind you that the mural is still open, and so please feel free to add your comments. This will be really helpful for us, and especially if you need to check with your colleagues, please do so. And so on Friday, we will close the mural, and then we will write a report on the results that we have there. And I think that, so even if it's a little bit few minutes before what was planned as the end of this workshop, I would like to thank all of you for participating, to thank all the team that has contributed to the organization of the webinar and that has been here for supporting you. And we hope to hear from you very soon on the different channels that are in place already. And anyhow, we will be in contact with you for the next phases of the co-construction process of the European DTO. So thank you very much to everyone.